Hello everyone, I am back once again. And as you can see, I'm actually going to go back to Serious Sam Advance once more, at least with commentary, because something phenomenal just happened with this game. At least if my theory that I mentioned in my playthrough is actually correct. Because what I'm going to do in this video is actually showcase a serious mode run for this game. Which is something that, as far as I'm aware, hasn't been done yet. It's possible that someone may have actually played through the serious mode before, but not to the extent that I'm about to showcase in this video. In fact, kind of like, you know how in one of my playthroughs, well, it just depends if how long you've been watching my videos, but I actually showcased a run for Kid Icarus on the Wii U, and that run was actually pre-recorded, and I actually post-commentated it. Well, this run for Serious Sam Advance is basically going to be no different. This run is actually pre-recorded as well, and I'm just going to speak over it and give you guys my thoughts on it, because playing through the hard mode was quite an experience actually. A lot of people like to talk about how bad this game is, and they wouldn't be wrong, but holy damn, did I go through so much just trying to complete this damn game. So yeah. The question is, how many times does it take, honestly? Yeah, because look, here's the thing. If I were to not actually, like, make it out of this, like, without, you know how you have the life system right there? You only have 2 lives, you know? So, if I have to, like if I lose both of my lives, then obviously I'd have to, you know, start over again. Or, not start over, but, like, enter the level that I last died in with the password system. That's usually how I complete the hard mode a lot of the times. And I'm kind of surprised not a whole lot of people have tried doing that, at least for when trying to showcase the hard mode, but maybe it's because they don't want to showcase themselves dying a lot. But I personally don't have a problem with that. So yeah, so basically this is what I'm trying to do here. I'm just trying to showcase you guys the run that I had to go through just to, you know, complete this mode, because it seems like no one has ever done it. Because I've looked up on YouTube and not a single video showcases them actually going beyond level 3 in the hard mode. So, you know, I might actually be the first person to actually do that, which means history for this game might actually have been made right now, this year, which is amazing. But yeah, this is obviously the first level. If you see my playthrough, then you should already know how a lot of this game functions, but yeah. One of the things that's worth mentioning about the hard mode is just that it takes a lot more shots to actually take out a lot of these enemies. Most notably the kamikazes, which only take like 2 to 3 shots to take out, but in this hard mode it takes up to 5 to take them out. And if one explodes, there's still a bunch still running at you if they come at you in hordes, obviously. So like right here. And because this is hard mode, if you're trying to run through this game without losing any lives, you're gonna definitely run into some death zones, and this battle with the Syrian werebills here is definitely one of them. For if one of these things hit you even once, chances are that you die immediately, since it only takes 3 hits for the bull to take you out completely. Because like I said before, the damage output for these bulls is insane in the hard mode. And they're very difficult to dodge, as you can see right here. It took me a while to take them out. Not to mention, it takes 4 shotgun hits for them to go down as well. So it's insane, honestly. It's not like an easy mode where you just have to hit them a couple times and boom, they're gone. No, you have to hit double that, basically. Or, yeah, I think it's double, basically, since it's 4, you know. But yeah, thankfully we survived that. We're gonna see how far I actually get without losing a life here, actually. That's kind of what I wanted to showcase to you guys right here. Because I definitely die in this a lot. Well, not a lot, but I definitely die here, so yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to just show you guys how this all rolls. This is the second level now, and as you can see, it's very scary to try to take out these kamikazes with the shotgun, because it actually takes 2 shotgun hits to take them out, which is annoying because the shotgun doesn't really have good range, and remember that the aiming system for this game is also kind of jerky, so chances are that you'll miss them even if the crosshair suggests that you're actually aiming right at them. It will still just miss them straight up, and then you'll just take a huge explosion, and the damages from the kamikazes is devastating. I think it also takes like 3 explosions from the kamikazes to take you out completely as well, so It's just about as deadly as getting hit by a Syrian werebull. So yeah. Here, as always, the Tommy gun secret. I have to exploit it here, because if I don't, this whole thing is gonna be difficult for no reason. I think this mode actually requires you to utilize the game's full potential, from the secrets that this game has to the very specific tech, such as this slow movement to aim at your enemies very specifically, you know, which is something that I notice a lot of people on YouTube, like who showcase their runs for Serious Sam Advance, don't ever do. They don't do this slow moving tactic to actually aim at the enemies properly, you know. But I do it a lot because it's kind of required for this mode. You have to be as careful as possible. This is one of those games that where you can't really just take the game very like lightly. In fact, I guess that's why they call it serious mode, because this game requires you to take this mode seriously, because if you're just messing around, the game will make you pay for it, and dearly. And there's actually a decent amount of examples of that in this run too, so you're gonna definitely see it, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So far, it's looking very good. Like, I haven't taken too much damage, because remember, the explosions from kamikazes, or even these shots from the Mythic soldiers, they are going to dish out a lot of damage, so you're definitely bound to, you know, use up a lot of antidotes or medical kits, so, and not to mention armor. Any little piece of armor that you find, you're definitely going to utilize it. In previous modes, you never had that problem because, you know, the game was too easy, obviously. And that includes Bring It On mode, which is supposed to be harder than easy, but for me, it felt kind of easy, honestly. I was able to get through it pretty decently. But yeah, so here we are. The cartridges, you know me. I love collecting cartridges in this game. The music in this level is also... I think this music that this game has also carried me, because I think one of the reasons why people just don't play this game enough is just because a lot of this game is bad already. And people think that the music is also mid too, honestly, so they don't really care about it. But I personally like it, honestly. It's kind of like what gets me going. I said this in my playthrough as well, that the music sounds kind of ambient. So when the music sounds ambient in a video game, it keeps me invested, even if there are things that can be deemed questionable, like this shooting system, for instance, that's not letting me hit some of the enemies. But yeah, and like I said before, there's just something about, like, you know, doing all of this traversing that just keeps me invested. I don't know. I know it's a bad game, but it just, I don't know, it just keeps me... I guess it's the music. Maybe it's just Serious Sam being a badass and kind of already having an idea of what his character is like. Like, all of this fascinated me that I just felt like, yeah, I need to play this a lot more. Not to mention, I am aware that games like the First Encounter and the Second Encounter exist, and a bunch of other games like Next Encounter, Serious Sam 2, 3, 4, all of that. But, you know, like... I have a feeling that I may never actually end up playing those games. That's just a feeling, obviously. Like, I'm not assuring anything, but it's very likely that I may not actually play another Serious Sam game. So, if that's the case, then I gotta at least make the most out of this game, basically. And that includes beating the hard mode, which for a long time, even I believed that it was very much impossible to complete. If only because there was a specific level that just required you to have an ultimate weapon that was just non-existent. So, but we'll get into that when we get to it, obviously. Right now we're still in the second level of Egypt, Ancient Egypt. As far as I'm concerned with these levels in Ancient Egypt, it is very much doable, but there are still some death zones in this area. The first level is already that, and it's very much a real tilt inducer as well if you get hit by those bulls, because then you're just forced to restart everything from the beginning. So right here, okay, right here in this part of the level, I'm doing the usual, making sure these kamikazes are gone. It's imperative that they are gone because this is where the Cyclops enemies get introduced, and they also take 4 shotgun hits to take out. And they shoot while they're running at you, so you kind of have to basically take hits in order to hit them before they ram into you, basically. And the physical damage that these enemies dish out is actually a lot worse than in easy mode or medium mode, so... yeah, it's very important to actually keep your distance with these enemies, especially the kamikazes, because those things I think do more damage than the other enemies. I think their damage output is basically the same as a Gunrilla, because Gunrillas for some reason have freaking internally stored rockets in them, and then they just explode on you. In the description, it even says that they do the same amount of damage as a kamikaze, so that's just insane, honestly. It's no wonder their damage output was always insane. I always thought it was just because they were big, bulky gorillas that grab you or something and like strangle you or something, and that's why you take a lot of damage, or just punch you or something. But no, they just explode the rockets, and it's like, holy damn. As if the cannonballs that they have on their heads were not enough. But anyways, yeah, so these are the Hermit Crabulites. I actually mentioned this in my playthrough as well, that it takes 3 shotgun hits to take these things out, so that's kind of insane. Another thing that's worth mentioning is that because a lot of these enemies take a lot of shots to take out, that I am going to definitely be running out of ammo and getting relegated all the way to my pistol every single time, because again, the enemies are all chunky as heck in this level, in this mode. But nonetheless, you got him running scared now, which is good. But yeah, so here's Aman'Thul, Subterranean Palace of the Pharaohs. This level is actually another potential death zone, actually. At least from my personal experience, I consider this a potential death zone. It's the level where I tend to die a decent amount, actually, as well, while trying to do a hard mode run. And one of the reasons is that you start the level off with these two Cyclops enemies, and then again you have this tiny little space to dodge them, or else you get this damage, which, as you can see, it went down pretty quickly. I got a 50 armor, and with just getting physical contact from these enemies, and not to mention the shots that they were launching at me, obviously I almost died right here, like at the very beginning, which is insane. And then I get greeted with a kamikaze, and then 2 Mythic soldiers that shoot kind of aggressively. Here I play it a little savvy and actually take advantage of the crossing. Because something worth noting about this game is also that if you aim even like at the shoulder of the enemies, you can still hit them for a lot of damage. It's not like in GoldenEye where you have to shoot them in the head to kill them instantaneously. No matter where you hit the enemy, it's gonna take a certain amount of shots to take them out. For example, the Cyclops, 4 shotgun hits, whether you shoot them in the middle or in the sides, like at their shoulders or something, it would still take 4 shotgun hits to take them out. So yeah, right here, again, more Cyclops, more kamikazes. Seeing these two together is kind of annoying, since, you know, I can only do so much. And I'm running low in ammo again, but that's to be expected in the hard mode. It's actually using up a lot more ammo than it did in normal mode, but that's to be expected once again, I said. Now these arachnoids show up, which, yeah, you saw them in the previous level, but here, again, they're just kind of annoying because they take too many hits to take out, and again, I run out of ammo, and I have to use my revolver once again to finish them off, basically. And even then, it still takes a lot of shots to, you know, take them out, which I guess is a good thing that Sam's revolver is the only weapon that has infinite ammo, because if I had no ammo for this either, I'd have to resort to using the chainsaw, and since the chainsaw is a liability in this game, obviously I just run the risk of literally losing the whole game, because again, there's a chance that you take physical damage from the enemies if you get up close with the chainsaw. You have to be perfectly spaced in order to actually, you know, dish out damage without taking any damage. But yeah, so here's more Mythic soldiers, more Mythic commanders. I still have no ammo because I just ran out again, which is annoying. But it is what it is. It takes like 9 shots to take out these Mythic soldiers too, which is really, really annoying. But that is, again, to be expected from the hard mode. I cannot stress this enough because people seem to not be able to differentiate the hard mode and the Bring It On mode, so yeah, here's the Tommy gun ammo. Only 215 rounds. Usually you would be full here, but you know, in this case it's just a whole different story. I collect the cartridges. Here's another part where if I get past the Cyclops enemies at the very beginning, this is another area where I can likely die, and it's these 2 Syrian werebulls. Basically, I have to try to dodge them and the kamikazes, and yeah, look, this is basically what happens. Trying to dodge them, and then I just get lost in where I'm supposed to go, and then I just get hit by the bull and almost die again. Like, holy damn, see what I mean? This is why this is like basically one of the death zones in ancient Egypt. But ancient Egypt is very doable still nonetheless. Like, it's more doable than the other half of the game, which is in Rome. It's there where the game starts to become a real hassle, to the point where it takes like up to 15 minutes for each level to be completed. If only because I had to play very carefully and had to take it slow a lot of the time, because going in haphazardly can actually cost me a run every single time. And if not, like, you know, like when it comes to just going through the game in one sitting, it also means that you'll just basically die a lot, like a lot, which means I'll have to constantly enter the password to, you know, access whatever level it was that I died in, and that's tedious, honestly. So basically, it's very important that I just compile all of this together right here so that I can, you know, not have to worry about showcasing the amount of times that I die, kind of like in Kid Icarus, you know. I basically spliced together all the pieces to, like, I just showed when I died once in each level, so, but then from there I just didn't bother showcasing the rest of them, otherwise the video would have been too long. I think this recording alone is like 2 hours long, almost. I think it's like 1 hour and 49 minutes or some shit like that. So yeah. But anyways, here's another area where the crosshair system can be a little bit annoying. Like, there's chances that you actually miss your shots, even if the crosshair says that you can actually shoot them. Here I have to take it slow, cannot rush in haphazardly, because I actually took a lot of damage earlier from the freaking Syrian Werebills, which are very obnoxious. I even mentioned that those characters are the most obnoxious to deal with, actually, because unlike all the other enemies in this game, the Syrian Werebills are capable of incapacitating you, and then as a result you'll just end up, you know, you'll end up getting all destroyed for no reason. Because you get, yeah, you can't really do much, you can't really reposition yourself to dodge them, you actually get stuck for a bit, which is annoying. Now here, there's something that I think you've already seen me do before, but it's basically, actually, maybe not. I don't think in my playthrough I showcased this, but I'm actually collecting everything here and just clearing the area before I make any further progress. The reason I'm doing this is just so that I can like collect everything on the ground, because you guys know that I have this habit of collecting anything that's on the ground if I can, because there are times where you just can't because you're full or something. So, but if I can, I'll definitely make sure I can get it, and which I did. And now I'm just gonna collect this backpack that I left lying around here after taking out the Methec soldiers that were here earlier. But now with all of that, also I wanted to reload this rocket launcher, because yeah, this is another weapon that if you saw earlier, it was another secret, and I think it's the last secret for that you get for weapons in particular, because you know, later levels doesn't seem to have any anymore, honestly. There's no minigun, there's no prying gun, no time strike, no cannon, nothing like that. It's just in ancient Egypt where you get these nice little secrets. But yeah, another reason I'm using the rocket launcher here is just because I want to get this level done as quickly as possible. Let it be known that it took me several tries to even get past the Egypt part in hard mode, so you can only imagine how desperately now I just want to get through this all over again. That's one of the reasons why I just don't take my time in some areas. I do still have to take it slow in some areas, especially when I took so much damage to the point of almost dying, but you know, the goal is still to get it all over with as fast as possible, since I had to die. But this was more so because I was trying to do the no death run, honestly, because if like, you know, if I died right here, for instance, I'd probably just go back using the password system. But usually the goal is to not have to do that, honestly, because even putting the password every time you die is also pretty tedious. So, you know, the less times I have to do that, the better, obviously. But anyways, we thankfully got past this second death zone. I think this is the only death zone from here on out, actually. I think everything else is a little bit doable, actually, for as far as the, you know, the Egyptian setting is concerned. Slave compound, yeah, this one, it can be rough. If you don't take care of yourself properly, this area can be fatal, but it's not like a death zone per se. I think this one's actually fine. I think anyone can do it, I feel. Although, let it be known that you do have to, in fact, be careful with the rocket launcher. You better make sure you shoot that correctly, because if you shoot it wrong, if you shoot it within your proximity, you're gonna definitely get yourself killed, because I've mentioned this in my playthrough as well, that if you use this rocket launcher up close, or if it clashes with a shot near you from the enemies, it'll explode right next to you and you'll take either a lot of damage or you'll just die, because yeah, again, the punishment that this game applies to you when making a mistake in the hard mode is very insane. Is very much insane. Because, again, like the explosion damage that you take from the rocket launcher when it clashes nearby is almost realistic. Like, you take a lot of damage to the point of almost dying, so yeah. do have to be careful with that, and you also have to be careful of shooting these things near the kamikazes, because, you know, their explosion also adds up. Here I'm just doing the whole thing of picking up the ammo that's on the ground, because I just feel the need to. That was one of the reasons why I didn't pick up the backpack in 100 armor earlier, is because I wanted to actually, you know, use up all the ammo so that I can collect whatever's on the ground. Then collect more of the ammo. And then here's where I can finally keep on going. This is the level that I personally believe is the final one to have a secret in this game. Because in later levels, as far as I'm concerned, I've never been able to find any other secrets. The next level that I do is actually, the next level that I do after this one was the one that I actually suspected there to have been a secret, but actually not that one actually. It's this one actually. This level, there is a secret, but it's not for a new weapon though. Surprisingly enough, it's rather for, yeah, you're gonna see in a bit right now. If you watch my playthrough, you already know what it is, since I do use the secrets in that game as well. Cause, you know, I actually don't like to leave those kinds of things behind. That's one of the things that always bothered me when I watched other people's runs in YouTube, is that they always skip the secrets or don't implement a lot of the game's text so that they can optimize their gameplay. They just show the shittiness of the playthrough, like of the gameplay, like the, you know, how to play the game and whatnot. And yeah, that gets kind of annoying. I mean, obviously everybody can play how they want, obviously, but it's just, you know, like for me it was always kind of irking. Again, you know that I have that habit again of, you know, wanting to pick everything up. So when I see these guys not pick anything up, I'm just like, damn, why are you guys leaving all of that behind, you know? Even when I'm forced to leave things behind, I have to basically, like, I feel a little bit like, like bummed that I couldn't pick it up and whatnot. And that includes stuff like the antidotes and the medical kits that you see lying around here. This is an area where it can very well be close to a potential death zone, but that really just depends on how patient you are with this this part of the room, of the level, where this pool is. Because as you saw, there were like 4 Cyclops enemies there. But if you jump into the pool and start shooting the 2 that are in front of you, there's a chance that one runs behind you and starts doing the physical damage, and that will just drain your armor and health to the lowest point. And yeah, that's dangerous in hard mode, because then you'll be vulnerable to whatever's up ahead, you know? But as always, I always have to implement this clearing of the area method in order to, you know, feel comfortable in my environment. And then from there, collect whatever ammunition I leave behind, if I can, that is. That's usually one of the reasons I also clear the areas. Try to use up all the ammo that I have so that I can collect whatever I skipped or was forced to skip. And probably that's what's helping me actually do well in this mode, because I feel like anybody else that just goes in like crazy will just get themselves killed for no reason. I've seen people use the rocket launcher in close proximity, but they usually don't have a lot of a consequence behind it, because they're most of the time playing on easy mode or normal mode, where the damage output from the rockets when used in close proximity isn't that much, you know. But yeah, as you can see right there where the 100 armor is, there's a door right there in the middle that has a heart right there. Yeah, like that's the other secret. That's the final secret in this game. I was hoping that in this level, even though there's already a secret here in the form of that heart, that there would probably be one more secret with the weapons and whatnot. But apparently that's not the case. Apparently, like I hugged all the walls that I could, like, you know, that I could in this level, and there was nothing like opening. There was not even a secret switch elsewhere so that I can actually unlock another door or anything like that. So yeah, no, it doesn't seem like there was a secret for another weapon in here. I was hoping there would be, at least based on what I saw in the next level, which you're gonna see in a bit right now. But yeah, no, and this level with all the switches and like back and forthing that you have to do, I'm actually surprised there's not more secrets actually. But again, it's possible that this game had limitations, and it's possible that the devs just didn't put it in, and whatever you see that looks like might have suggested a secret was probably just there, just, you know, because they tried to implement it but they couldn't or something. So they just left whatever was there in there, and I guess it's just an Easter egg at this point of what was meant to be for this game. Kind of like how Matt Simmons had to nerf his music in order for it to fit in this game, which in my opinion is one of the best things he's ever done. Because I don't know if I'd like his soundtrack like if it was actually in this game, actually. That's just my opinion, though. I still think his soundtrack is alright, honestly, his original score. But that's just a personal preference, and who knows? Maybe he thinks otherwise, you know? But that's fine, honestly. It is his music, after all. But, yeah. So, oh, yeah. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, this is funny. This is actually funny. Okay, so there is a glitch here, actually, where you can actually get the 200 health if you position yourself in a certain way. And I think I just did it randomly right now. It's either that or the heart itself is probably positioned differently. But as you can see, I just got it by walking in reverse, and I didn't even have to unlock the secret. Yeah, it's because that was another thing I forgot to mention, and this was something I should have mentioned in my playthrough as well, is that this game does have a lot of glitches. I would like to make a I would like to make a compilation of all the glitches that I've run into in this game, but there's probably too many of them that probably is nothing new. But this one was probably an interesting one because you didn't even have to use the switch to actually get the 200 health here. Kind of makes you wonder if this is even a secret anymore. But yeah, it can be, because there are times where I actually have done this trick, and it just doesn't really work. It just seems to work randomly. Like right here, while I was trying to constantly regrind to get the no death run on this game, which is something that is like the goal of mine. Because look, if people have not beaten this game on hard mode yet, there's a very good chance that if I do it, I'd be the first one to do it. And, because of that, if I played this on official hardware, I could probably even claim the world record, maybe. Maybe, but I'm not sure on that yet, honestly. Maybe somebody has actually done it and has already proven it, but as far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen it anywhere, honestly. Not even on Google have I found anybody documenting the hard mode for Serious Sam Advance. I've only seen serious mode runs from the first encounter or HD, second encounter as well. Or any Serious Sam game that isn't this one, which is insane, honestly. Because I was actually expecting one of the aficionados for this game to actually do it, but no. It's all up for grabs, basically. And me, since I'm the only one that seems to still play this game, honestly, because I haven't had it in me to be able to play the other Serious Sam games, I just figured, why not, honestly. And the game is kind of fun despite the jankiness behind it. And I think, like I said before, I think the music from Matt Simmons also kind of carries. Like, it kind of keeps me upbeat and just it helps me keep going, basically. Like, I really feel like I'm on a journey every time I listen to his music in this game. And that says a lot. Oh yeah, right here I was trying to hug around the area to see if there was a secret wall somewhere here for a new weapon. But yeah, nah, there was nothing. In the previous levels, I think in level 1, or no, in level 2 and level 3, there were some doors at the beginning and end of the levels. I was kind of hoping that maybe if you get like a time attack, you would probably be able to actually, in other words, the time bonus, you would actually be able to unlock that door somehow. But I tried that and that didn't work out either, honestly. Which would have been cool if that was a way to actually unlock secrets in the game too, honestly. But alas, honestly. Then why else did they put those doors there is my real question. Anyways, this is the 5th level, and as you can see, this is something that I also talked about extensively in my playthrough, so I'll actually leave my playthrough in the description below if you guys want to see what I talk about in that video about this. But yeah, basically this minigun ammo that's right here was over there at the beginning of the level, but you can't even collect it because the door that you come out of from the room that you came out of right now, it actually closes and it never opens ever again. So yeah. Like, that was the one thing that actually suggested that there might have been a minigun in the slave compound, but it just never, there was never any like hidden wall that would take me to that possible secret. Like I said before, it's possible that it was probably intended to be in the game, but they just never put it in for limitations or whatever, honestly. For one reason or another, Here, like I said before, this level can be hard, but for me personally, I haven't run into an inconvenience for this yet, honestly. I think where those Syrian wereballs were coming out, that's like the closest you actually are in danger, basically, because it's again dodging wereballs while also dodging kamikazes, and both of them combined is kind of difficult because they both run at you and at a reasonable speed and with a lot of power, basically. the kamikazes being the bombs that they carry, and the bulls being their full-on horns and shit. Yeah, it's all kinds of things, honestly. Yeah, here there's a lot of ammo scattered all over the ground, and here what I'm gonna do is basically take out all the enemies, because that is required in order to progress. But I'm gonna use my ammo in a way that kind of leaves me with just enough to get everything that's on the ground. The only things that I'm gonna have to like leave behind are probably the antidotes or medical kits, or even armor, honestly. But the ammo, I want to actually collect all of it, because again, collecting ammo in this game just feels satisfying for some reason. I don't know why. Well, actually, what do you mean I don't know why? It's kind of like in Pokemon, like I said before. It's basically where, you know, I just get satisfaction out of collecting items, honestly. You see it on the ground, you just feel the need to get it, you know? Here I use the rocket launcher to take care of the kamikazes, because as you can see, it takes even more than one to actually take these out sometimes, because again, they're able to take hits a lot better than before. That using the shotgun is just almost unreliable, because there's a chance they will still take another one to, you know, take out the rest of the kamikazes. And with the shotgun, again, it just takes forever to take out a lot of enemies because of how slow it is. I think that's my biggest issue with the shotgun, actually, is that it's slow. You have to see a whole animation of Sam reloading the shotgun with the cartridges, and that takes a lot of time, honestly. And with the hordes of enemies that come around in these levels, you don't got time for just constantly reloading. Although, to be fair, in real life, you would probably have to do the exact same thing if you were in this kind of position. You can only reload a couple cartridges at a time, but it is what it is, and if that's your only weapon, then what choice do you have, you know? Like, I get it, honestly, but it's just, again, an inconvenience to say the least. So if I have stuff like rocket launchers or miniguns, you better believe that I'm gonna use that, honestly, because, you know, especially for a mode like this where you kind of just gotta use your best weapons, honestly, to its full potential, because otherwise you'd be wasting your time, because chances are that you're just gonna struggle a lot more than I am right now, and you probably won't get very far, honestly. For me, it's already remarkable that I've even gotten up to level 5. I've never seen anybody make it this far in serious mode, because again, no one seems to try at that point. They just lose, and then they don't even say anything. They just stop the footage, and then they're just like, yeah, that's serious mode already. It's funny, honestly. It's funny, but it's also a little bit like kind of annoying, because it's kind of like I want to see more. I think that's another reason why I was just motivated to just do the hard mode myself, honestly. It was a mode that even back then, like in I think 2012 or 2013, somewhere around there, I actually wanted to see if I could beat the hard mode, but you know, I never did. I was only able to beat normal mode, but everything else was just too difficult. This was the year I figured, you know what, this is like the 20th anniversary of Serious Sam Advance, so I figured, let's actually see if we can do it this time, and see if we can make history on the 20th anniversary for Serious Sam Advance. It's not the exact date right now, actually, though. I think it was April 20th when this game came out, but yeah, in 2004, that is, but you know, like, it would have been the 20th anniversary specifically, but you know, it's already past that. But again, we're still in the year 2024, so it's still over 20 years since the game came out. I'm almost done taking out these enemies right here. We're gonna be able to progress, and as you can see, I'm also taking it very, very slow with the ammo, because I want to have just enough so that it has my weapons full and not have any like missing or something like that, because usually that's another thing that kind of gets me a lot of the time, when some weapons are not full in ammo. Like right now, this Tommy gun is full, and that's how I like my weapons to be, especially when I haven't like shot any enemies in a while. Here I'm doing the usual shtick of, you know, going in here before those kamikaze spawn, because it's very difficult to evade them in that tiny little space. These arachnoids are very annoying because they actually shoot their shots very aggressively, and you know, as a result I take a lot of damage, especially in hard mode where the damage output is a little bit more annoying, like it takes a lot more out of you. But yeah, this is the final room with all the good stuff before you get into battle. You still have to take out these kamikazes individually, because that's just how it is. This is very similar to the second level where you're going to that room and you meet that second arachnoid. Where you just... So I'm kind of surprised this is here in this 5th level of all levels. I was expecting this to be maybe in the 3rd level at the very least, but in the 5th level? You see, like, this is what I mean by this game is, like, it feels very tame. Even on the hard mode, it feels tame. I think the dangerous thing about hard mode, really, is just when you use the rocket launcher, because remember that these enemies shoot a lot of shots, and if those shots are close to you and you shoot your rocket launcher, and that rocket launcher, or not rocket launcher, the rocket clashes with their shots right next to you, you take a lot of damage, if not die. I've said this time and time again, but it's very important to stress out because, yeah, this is literally what gets you the most in hard mode, honestly. Even when you get so far into the game, this is the one thing that can sometimes kill you. In fact, the rocket itself, the rocket launcher alone can very well be a death zone, and it can apply it to literally any level. It's all a matter of how effectively you use it. Or should I say proficiently, because if you use it in the most amateurish way possible, it's definitely going to cost you. For me, so far, I'm still Gucci, because I actually, you know, I've grinded this mode numerous times now that at this point it's kind of like the whole Egypt setting is becoming somewhat easy, quote unquote, because yeah, no, I already mentioned Amentheul and Hurkat lower, or Hurkat upper actually, not lower, upper. Both of those levels are effective death zones because of the Syrian wearables, of course. Those wearables are really the problem when it comes to the Egyptian setting. They can literally make you blow it completely. You get hit once by them and it's over, basically. Even the Gunrillas, you have a chance against them as long as you can dodge their cannonballs, but the Syrian wearable locks you in place for a good while and they can still ram into you, which is the crazy part. But yeah, anyway, so this is the final level of Ancient Egypt. It's a little hard, especially with these kamikazes spawning in a very awkward way. Like, it's in one whole side, but individually. And they're kind of hard to hit, obviously, so especially with the aiming system, so it kind of makes them complicated to shoot. And you have to constantly strafe around like this. And when you fail, you take a lot of damage, as you saw. I had a decent amount of armor, and then this happens, of course. It just is what it is. But thankfully I'm still alive, so it's not too bad. Here I'm just taking care of the enemies. I don't have to deal with these enemies. I could just skip them, but you know, if I can, if I can take care of them, why not, you know? I do play this game to destroy enemies after all. But yeah. Here I gotta shoot this guy right here, because if I don't, then bad things will happen. Here's the other side, where, you know, more of these guys are. There's also the Cyclops enemies, which is one of the reasons that using the rocket launcher here can be scary, because you may not even be able to see the shots coming and you're shooting the rocket launcher all haphazardly, and then, you know, before you realize it, you're already dead. Thankfully, I didn't have to worry about that. Here's another area where a bunch of kamikaze spawn. Here's where I like to mow them down with the minigun, because minigun is meant to be used to mow down enemies. But since a lot of the enemies are chunky as heck, I have to rely more on the rocket launcher, because the rocket launcher has higher probability of taking out the enemies much quicker, which is usually what I like to do, because shooting endlessly for a long period of time, it can be also kind of tiring. Also takes forever, so I get kind of like desperate too, honestly, because usually I'm one of those people that like to actually like speedrun a lot of this, but not like speedrun to the point where it like becomes record breaking, because you know, I feel like there's already way too many players like that are good at speedrunning, and I'm not one of those folks that are actually like analytical with the game, and you know, they have to identify every frame so that they can find the best the best position to place yourself in order to traverse any level as quickly as possible, you know, like cut corners as much as possible. For me, that's just too much at that point. I just like to get through levels as fast as possible, and if I know what I need to use to get there, then that's all I need. I don't need to break any world records. In fact, if no one plays this mode, I could actually maintain this world record for centuries, although again, I have to play this on official hardware, because let it be known that I actually am using this. I actually did play this game on an emulator for the sake of the visual quality, because recording off the GameCube is actually, you know, the quality is worse there, obviously. And you have to put up with the little Game Boy Advance frame that you have when playing with the Game Boy player. You know, I didn't want any of that, honestly. I wanted the full screen to be shown here, kind of, you know. Yeah, okay, so these are hermit crabuloids. They're here, and I think this is another tech that a lot of people don't seem to use, but it's also just when you shoot the rockets at them, even when they're under their shells, you could actually take out some of them. And even when they come out of their shells, the damage that they take from the rocket explosion initially is enough to weaken them to the point where it no longer takes 3 shotgun hits to take them out, but rather 2 or even 1, depending on how much damage they took from the explosion of the rockets. And that's kind of cool. But not a whole lot of people do that, honestly, for some reason. Probably because they don't explore the game enough. Which is understandable, like I said before. Nothing against anybody, but you know, it's just an irk of mine, honestly. It's like a pet peeve. But yeah, here's another, this is the final room of the level. Kind of. It's the penultimate room, actually. Yeah, this is the penultimate room. There's kamikazes everywhere. They're kind of having a hard time to, you know, go down. But I finally get everything. And then they give you one last of everything. One last armor, one last medical kit, one last backpack. Reload all your weapons, restore all your health, restore all your armor. And you're going to get ready for the big battle here. Obviously, I want to listen to the music because I wasn't actually listening to anything. I just wanted to actually make sure that I was saying everything correctly. But yeah. Here, I think I was actually talking with somebody. That's why I actually was still here for a bit. But, you know, I actually didn't want to let that actually stop me from, you know, continuing this game. Because to get here, it took me a while. And obviously, I didn't want to have to stop because somebody was calling me or some shit like that, honestly. That would have just been pretty obnoxious. Anyways, here you're going to see what happens. Something worth mentioning is that if you play this on easy mode, you can destroy the Syrian Sphinx before these guys even show up. But because this is hard mode, the Sphinx is actually a lot chunkier to the point where, yeah, the boss is actually now is starting to show his full potential, basically. Here I do mess around a little bit just because, yeah, again, the Syrian Sphinx is still kind of like a doable boss, honestly. It's not super hard, honestly, especially once you get the Cyclops enemies out of the way. Because here he'll summon more enemies, but it's just these 2 guys, and that's nothing, honestly. The first round that he sent out, that one was pretty scary because it was literally 4 Cyclops enemies and 2 of the what's it called, the Mythic soldiers. But there you go. I took out the Syrian Sphinx. Not too bad. It did take a little bit of my HP, a little bit, but you know, that's usually to be expected, especially because I was dealing with the Cyclops enemies. Oh yeah, speaking of damage output, not the Cyclops, the Syrian Sphinx, the bosses in general, on hard mode, remember that in my playthrough I said that they don't actually do a lot of damage, they shoot a lot of fireballs at you, but they don't even do a lot of damage? But in this mode, they do, which means that in the hard mode, the bosses and the full potential becomes fulfilled, basically. Like, they're actually now challenging to deal with, which is amazing. Because that was one of my, like, personal pet peeves when it came to dealing with the bosses, is that they kind of were too easy. More easier than traversing the levels themselves, honestly. But it is what it is. Anyways, so this is the second half of the game, and yeah, I'm gonna showcase this in one sitting, just so you guys can see that, you know, like, how far I can get without actually, you know, without having to splice anything. Because, you know, like, again, this is hard mode. This is a mode that nobody seems to have explored enough yet. So if I'm gonna be the first one to do it, I have to do it to the best of my ability. Like, I have to showcase literally how far I can get. And whatever I cannot, then it'll just basically be, you know, You'll notice, basically. You will see, basically. I'll just simply enter with a password system. If I die again, then I'll just simply have to cut until I finally get over the level and whatever. Jeez, I can't talk. But it is what it is. It's because I'm a little excited too, honestly. It's because, again, this is just something that, you know, I never thought I'd be able to do, honestly. But yeah, here's, this level obviously can be hard. I don't consider this level a death zone, but it could very well be. In fact, I think all of the levels in Ancient Rome are actually more... they could very well be death zones, because a lot of them have some complicated shit to deal with, honestly. You saw earlier that there was a lot of kamikazes that I actually had to... You know, like, I had to go through that little... You know, that area that I went right there so that they wouldn't come at me right away, honestly. That's another tech that a lot of people don't seem to use in the games. And even for easy mode or normal mode. And I think it'd come in quite handy, honestly, if they actually implemented that more. But they don't. A lot of them just play the game once and then they just kind of put it down for the rest of their lives. They just kind of want to showcase their run on YouTube, which is fine, because that's pretty much the reason why I even showcased my own playthrough for this game, is because I wanted to showcase my perspective on the game too, honestly. So I don't blame them, honestly, for doing that. And like I said, everybody can play the way they want, honestly. It's just that when I see certain things, I am going to have some pet peeves, obviously. But everyone does. People can have pet peeves for my videos too, honestly. People can probably complain like, why aren't you live recording this? I would live record this, but it's very hard to freaking play this with live recordings, you know, like with live commentary. So yeah, it's like, it's kind of not worth it, honestly. I'd probably stutter a lot more than I am right now, obviously, so, you know, I'd rather be more comfortable, you know. Kind of talk about what's going on in this level too, honestly. Kind of like I do with my Pokemon Wi-Fi matches. Just showcase what's going on, and maybe even give some, like, insight onto how I deal with some of these levels more comfortably, as opposed to be all like, I gotta do this, you know, like all that kind of stuff, honestly. I want to be more relaxed, honestly. And plus, this is my last video for Serious Sam Advance that has commentary, so I kind of just want to let out as much as I can, because from there I won't be able to say much, unless I want to make like a whole ass review about the game. But I honestly don't know how to do that, honestly. I'm kind of like lazy and don't really feel like doing a lot of research on this game. The only thing I liked about this game was playing through it, is all. The music was great as well. Serious Sam as a character is also pretty interesting. I think those two things was actually what got me to even play this game as well. Oh, and not to mention that the weapons as well. The weapons were also kind of cool, especially in comparison to GoldenEye. GoldenEye still has like the better weapons, and even more so, like more weapons than what Serious Sam has here. But the weapons that are in this level, in this game, is still cool nonetheless. Did I tell you that I'm actually a huge fan of the minigun, to the point where I actually bought myself an airsoft minigun? And it was because of Serious Sam, obviously. So that says something, honestly. Like I do like Serious Sam, even if I don't play the games. What I've seen of Serious Sam, especially in those cutscenes that I see on YouTube, he's a funny guy. And the fact that he can like destroy these savages that you see in these levels, that's badass, honestly. Being a badass and being like a funny guy is kind of insane, honestly. Characters like that are usually the ones that get my interest, because it's like, oh, and not to mention, Serious Sam is this guy that looks like he's supposed to be serious, but the world that he's in sometimes doesn't seem all that serious, which is kind of funny, again. But it is what it is. Anyways, so yeah, this is the bladder beast. I, for some reason, call them gallbladder beast in my playthrough for some reason. It's because I think as a kid I used to think that that's what they were called. I could have sworn I saw that they said gallbladder beast, but it's just bladder beast apparently. You know, I didn't know that anyway. It's kind of like that whole thing with the Maui thing, thinking it was Maui or some shit like that. It's kind of a bunch of weird stuff. Another thing that I remember I thought I saw as a kid was during the Syrian Sphinx battle. I thought that rather than there being 4 Cyclops showing up, I thought it was like 4 on each side, so a total of 8 Cyclops. I thought that was what I saw when the Syrian Sphinx spawned that wave of enemies, that first round of enemies. I thought it was 8 Cyclops right behind me and I had to destroy them all, but it was just 4. You know, like as a kid you see things in a much dramatic way than what you actually end up seeing it as an adult. It's kind of crazy, honestly. That's one of the reasons why I like going back to old games, because it's like I have a whole new like perspective on how these games look now compared to what I had back then. But yeah, so here once again, oh yeah, this part of the level is actually, again, is one of the reasons why I think it could very well be a death zone, because you saw those freaking whatever they're called, the reptiloids that you see on the roof. Those things, if you try to shoot rockets at them, sometimes they don't die. Sometimes it takes like 4 or 5 rockets to take them out, because you can't sweet spot them. You need to sweet spot them in order to finish them off with 3 rockets alone. But if you miss that sweet spot, it takes more rockets, and then on top of that they shoot you, and their damage is actually a lot worse than the arachnoid or the Cyclops enemies. And on top of that, if you shoot them with rocket launchers, it can clash with their bullets and then you die. So it's, again, same thing where you just kind of can die because of those bullets. So I don't know if it's the level or if it's just the rocket launcher doing its thing where it becomes the death zone weapon, because that weapon can kill you sometimes. if only because you're shooting it haphazardly. You actually have to be tactful when using the rocket launcher, which is kind of insane because it's a weapon that I need in a lot of situations, but if I can't use it right, if I don't use it in a careful way, especially during the heat of a lot of like intense moments, it can cost me a lot. Here, yeah, this is another scary part of the level, is where a bunch of werebills spawn. There's like a bunch of them here, but I usually try to keep my distance so that I don't draw them all in, because then it would be difficult to dodge them. And remember that the aiming system can sometimes miss, so if I miss the werebills, I'm gonna get hit and then die. Which is, damn. It's probably the biggest reason why people don't even bother with the serious mode, is because if the aiming system is already a problem as it is, and the damage output from these enemies is ridiculous, this mode can very well be unfair, like super unfair. No, and the worst part is that, you know, there are levels in this game that kind of make it kind of makes it feel like almost impossible to beat, honestly. No, and in fact, for a time, I actually believed that it was impossible to beat this game on hard mode. But I realized that it's possible, but I think it does require you to actually dedicate yourself a little more to this game. And not to mention, make use of those secrets every single time, and not to mention implement all the available tech that you see in this game, obviously, including strategies, because otherwise you're basically gonna just be like everybody else and just be quick to give up. Which, again, makes sense for a game like this, which is already bad, obviously. Because that's another thing. I've already accepted that this game is bad. There's people out there that complain about the game just being so bad, and then they just leave it. And they even blatantly complain in videos that they never want to see this game ever again. And it's like, yeah, I don't blame them. I don't blame them for having that mentality, because this game is bad. The shooting system is janky. The movement is janky. The game drops frames in moments where there's like a bunch of enemies, and it just makes it super difficult to adjust yourself properly. Okay, yeah, that was another attempt of me trying to see if that door right there could have been a secret to maybe a time strike or something, or even a cannon. But no. Again, it's just the game teasing me that there might be a secret here, and there isn't. I did beat this level with the time bonus as well, and it still didn't unlock anything, so yeah, no. These doors are just messing with me a lot at this point. Okay, now here's a level where I definitely believe it's a death zone. It's the slave quarters, and the reason why is because this is the level that actually introduces you to those Gunrillas, and every time, even in this part of the level, the beginning that is, as soon as one of these cannons hit me, I'm already almost like down to half HP, which is kind of insane. Because that's how relentless the Gunrillas are, and on top of that there was Kamikazes as well. Kamikazes with Gunrillas is just, yeah, no. At that point this is like chaos already. Okay, but here's the real problem with this level, actually. You're gonna get a backpack right here, but then these Gunrillas spawn 4 on each side. So one right here, you have to dodge those cannons, because if you don't, those cannons will hurt, like really badly. You have no idea how badly those cannons hurt. In easy mode and normal mode, they're alright. They don't do too much damage, but in hard mode, holy damn. You could very well actually be getting hit by a cannonball. And yeah, you will feel that pain, honestly. However, the strategy that I started to implement here to get through this level much more easily was not only dodge the cannons once they shoot them and then fire the rocket launcher, but once they get off the roof, start to use the Prion gun on them, the Prion gun on them, so that they go after each other instead of attacking me, honestly. Because them attacking me is exactly what makes this part of the level very difficult, because their cannons are just shooting you from every angle. But this Prion gun can kind of just divert their attention from me to them, because that's kind of what the Prion gun does. It kind of makes them attack each other for one reason or another. The way I see the effects of this Prion gun is just that it's something similar to rabies, where they kind of just like get erratic to the point where they start attacking their own kind, and then once it expires, they just die. You know, kind of a thing. That's kind of how I've always viewed the effects of the Prion gun. Besides the Confuse Ray, shoutouts to Pokemon. But yeah, here I'm using my shotgun because I actually know that there's cartridges up ahead, and I want to actually be able to collect it and not leave it behind. Because let it be known that cartridges are always the ones that I always leave behind, because I almost never use the shotgun, because it's a liability in a lot of these situations where there's waves of enemies. As you can see here, I actually had to deal with a total of 16 Gunrillas here. 18 if you count the ones at the very beginning. 18 Gunrillas I had to deal with here. And they are the most chunkiest enemies in this whole game. Followed by the Reptiloids, which take up to, I believe, like... Well, they take 3 rockets too, honestly, but there are some weapons that actually finish them off much earlier than with the Gunrillas, so yeah. They are the chunkiest enemies in this game. Not to mention the most brutal, because if coming into physical contact with them, I already mentioned the explosive rockets they have. And then on top of that, the cannonballs, they hurt like crazy. They hurt more than any other weapon in this... they hurt more than any other shots that the enemies have. Whether it be the Mythic Soldier, the Cyclops, the Arachnoids. Their shots are like weak compared to the Gunrilla's cannonballs. Here's more waves of enemies. These bladder beasts take 2 rocket hits this time as opposed to 1 like in normal mode or easy mode. There's a few Crabuloids here, which again they take 3 shotgun hits. Unless they got caught in the blast with the rocket launcher, but it seems like that's not the case because they're all still taking 3 shots to hit. Oh no, that one actually did. That one took 2. Oh, and that one too. Okay, never mind. So they did take a little bit of the rocket launcher. A few kamikazes appear here, along with these arachnoids. The arachnoids are not my least favorite enemies in the game, but they are probably the most obnoxious. Specifically because of how difficult it is to hit them compared to the Gunrillas. Not to the extent of the Reptiloids. The Reptiloids are even worse because they actually are difficult to take out, especially with the rocket launcher. Because I think if you shoot them with a minigun, you can actually hit them and they'll just go down straight up. But for some reason, the rocket launcher, there's times where even if you hit them, they just don't take damage at all. And it's like, what? So I had to use up another rocket, basically. There's never any definitive number of rockets or whatever weapons I use against the Reptiloids. But the thing with the Arachnoids is just that they almost don't go down, and they shoot their shots more aggressively than the Reptiloids too. So yeah, they're kind of annoying to say the least. They're super annoying. There's some minigun ammo here. So here once again, there's like a bunch of Crabuloids here. So what I'm gonna do right here is just use the rocket. From the looks of it, it didn't seem to take out that many, but I think it did weaken a good chunk of them, so that it doesn't take 3 shotgun hits to take them out, but rather 1 or 2 instead. So yeah, no, this definitely came in handy still nonetheless. Using the rockets against the Crabuloids is probably in your interest, but you have to use it carefully because, you know, you can only be within a certain range so that these Crabuloids come out of their shells, and then you have to also like retreat so that you're not too close to the rockets when you launch them, obviously, because then it'll explode nearby and then you'll take damage for no reason. You know, you don't want that. Here you have to basically go through these arachnoids. I do this this corner strafing a lot as well, where you have to kind of like adjust yourself in a way where the enemies don't shoot you, but you can shoot them, because, you know, again, taking damage here is kind of critical. Every hit means everything, basically, especially on the off chance you run into those Gunrillas again. Honestly, there is actually another secret tech that I use in this game that I want to believe other people will definitely know about, but I also don't see people using that either, honestly. So that's kind of interesting. Actually, no, I think I lie. I think there was one that I actually saw implemented, but not a whole lot of people do. Others actually do have it in them to actually confront the Gunrillas that show up there, but you know, they do it on easy mode or normal mode, so I guess it's not that surprising. Even I did it for my playthrough, honestly. Confront the Gunrillas. Here I have to basically circle around these this area so that I can shoot all the kamikazes that are spawning, as well as the arachnoids. Basically clearing the area to make sure I don't get any surprises, because when dealing with the hard mode, I have to make sure that there's nothing that catches me off guard, because if so, before I realize it, I could be dead. These are additional Crabuloids. You already know about them. They're just kind of like traversing my way. I ran out of shotgun hits, and right here I'm just trying to... I was forced to use my revolver because I ran out of shotgun hits, but I do have Tommy gun ammo still. So I'm going to use that, basically. I could also use the rocket launcher, but again, I just have that fear that if I shoot very closely, I could take damage for no reason. It is a risky weapon to use in the hard mode. But nonetheless, I take them out, so I can just keep on going now. And you're about to see the little tech that I implement here. I wouldn't call this my strategy because I think there's people who have probably done this, but I haven't, like, I almost never see it. But yeah, it's basically right here where you go into this corner right here, and then you just finish the level like that. I even mentioned this in my playthrough, that if you actually go through the sides, you can actually skip the enemies that follow if you go through the middle, you know. But, you know, because I was doing normal mode there, so I had it in me to just confront the enemies that followed, which were basically 6 more Gunrillas and I believe 4 or maybe 6 arachnoids, yeah. Anyways, this is the Gladiator Training School, and this is the final time that these bulls show up, these Syrian werebulls, which is good because these enemies I never really liked, honestly. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. They're my least favorite enemies in this whole game, followed by the Reptiloids, because the Reptiloids are also very difficult to take out, and they shoot a lot. Then from there, it's probably the Gunrillas, because Gunrillas are very chunky and they take forever. They take a lot of your freaking ammo when shooting them, especially when you shoot the minigun. But the weird thing is that when it comes to shooting enemies in this game, there are some inconsistencies. And I'm going to get into one of them right here, honestly, that I consider very, very notable. Especially considering the amount of ammo it takes out of you, honestly. That is just surreal. But anyways, yeah, here you have to basically just go back and forth here shooting a bunch of kamikazes before you finally can progress. I have to clear an area right here because, yeah, as you can see, I'm taking a lot of damage from these Mythic soldiers. These ones, for some reason, come off as more aggressive than in previous levels, honestly. Like, they shoot a lot more, and I can actually feel the hits a lot of the time, to the point where I actually need to use the medical kit here. Right here, I'm going to go here. I actually looked up the Serious Sam wiki, and for some reason, they claim that this 100 armor here is a secret, but I don't see how that's the case, really, because it's just right there. I feel like anyone can explore it. Had that been hidden behind a wall, then yeah, that could be a secret, honestly. But it was just out in the open. There's no way that's a secret. The reason I used the Serious Sam wiki was to see if I could find any additional secrets for this level, but even they don't seem to know if there's any more secrets in this level or not. Since they claim that this one was a secret, for crying out loud. I was just like, what are they even talking about? Oh yeah, so here's another reason why this level right here is also the death zone, and I think this is the second difficult level in this Roman setting. Is basically where these kamikazes spawn. But as they spawn, so do Gunrillas. So what I do here is actually try to implement the prying gun so that I can divert them from it and actually have them shoot each other instead while I deal with the kamikazes. Because I feel like that's the only way I can get around to dealing with these things. Because look at them. They keep spawning while these Gunrillas are just shooting their cannons. Like, there's a lot to dodge here. And on hard mode, it's just difficult. I had to keep using more of the prying gun. That's probably a good thing why that's probably the reason why the red cell was there, honestly, and I'm glad it was there, honestly, because damn, this was one of the most prominent death zones that I've had to deal with when doing the hard mode, actually, because this one not only makes me lose a life, it makes me game over completely because it's just very difficult to get around. No, this is a strategy that I'm willing to bet no one has even thought of yet, honestly. Because, damn. But if they have, they definitely didn't do it on hard mode. They did it on normal mode or easy mode, which is drastically different, believe it or not. Anyways, here's another tough moment in the level as well. It's because all these moments in this level are very tough. This is why this level is a death zone. I have to use the prying gun yet again because the problem is that I'm getting kind of sandwiched by these enemies. And that causes me to take a lot of unnecessary damage. Here I'm using the Time Strike because I don't see myself using it later on in the level. Interestingly enough, the Time Strike, well, it is a cool weapon. It does have the same, it has the same damage output as a rocket launcher, it seems. It takes 2 to take out Bladder Beasts and Arachnoids, and 3 for Gunrillas. So I honestly don't see what the point is of this Time Strike, but the Time Strike definitely looks cool. But it's not as reliable as the rocket launcher, I'd say. Although it's more safer to use than the rocket launcher, that's for sure. Here's another moment where I freaking have to take a lot of damage from these Gunrillas because, yeah, this part is also very difficult. They come out and then they start shooting the cannons at you, and that becomes a problem. You see that? You're basically like, you try to dodge them and the door behind you actually already closed, so you can't even go outside anymore. You're just stuck with these guys. And you have to hope that while you're shooting them with this minigun, that they don't actually like unflinch and shoot a cannon right away, because then right there, that's the whole game. Again, this is one of those moments where I just almost die, which is insane. Here's a tiny little room with a few Crabuloids. And this is the last time you see the Crabuloids too, so yeah. This one took, I guess, 2 shotgun hits because it was taking damage from the other side of the room with a rocket launcher, or... Oh no, wait, I wasn't even using that. Or unless it was the rocket launcher from when I was shooting at the kamikazes. I don't know. But yeah, just taking care of these Crabuloids. Thankfully, this is just a few of them, because if there was like 5 of them in each corner or something like that, that would have been pretty annoying. And lengthy. It would have drained up a lot of my ammo, honestly. Which, as you can see in this game, I kind of need a lot of, honestly. Because I run low pretty quickly. Here I have to carefully open this door, because what happens is that if a Gunrilla beats me to the door, as soon as it opens, the cannon comes right in my face. And right now, I'm not in condition to actually... lose this right now. Because I've come this far. That's one of the crazy things about this game, is that when you get very far in a level, you really feel like you've come so far that if you die at any moment, it's just it's heartbreaking, honestly. So I'm just trying to be super careful. Here I'm waiting for an Arachnoid to show up because I don't want them to give me problems while I'm dealing with this Gunrilla. Here I decided to just finish this thing off with a rocket as well. Gunrillas are very obnoxious to deal with when using with the minigun. Oh, and it seems like I'm not going to be able to show you what happens, because this particular Gunrilla, in fact, I think the 3 Gunrillas that in this room, in that lobby or hallway or whatever, they take over 100 bullets from the minigun or Tommy gun for some reason. But in other levels or in other areas of the levels, they actually take up to maybe like 60 bullets. So it's kind of weird. Like, there's moments where they're chunkier than usual with certain weapons, yet with the rocket launcher it's still three rockets. Like, what even? I personally don't understand that. That's why this game, again, too many anomalies. I can never understand why certain things function the way they do, honestly. That's kind of one of the reasons why I wish I could actually talk to one of the devs that made this game, because I need to know why on earth this game came out the way it did. But either way, we at least took care of whatever the hell was in this level. I wanted to believe that there was a secret in near these little key thingies, but you know, at this point I kind of have lost faith at this point. Like, I was hoping that I'd be able to find the secret to the ultimate weapon here in this level that's right here, Bathhouse, the Baths of Diocletian, because remember that I actually mentioned in my playthrough that there was actually a secret weapon in this level. That being the unidirectional microwave transmitter. That would have been pretty useful in the following 2 levels. Because, yeah, here what I get instead is a cannon, but this is not even the secret weapon. This is just the weapon that comes with this level. Here I'm gonna, you know, skip the backpack. This is something that a lot of people also don't do enough, is skip the backpack so that they can prevent certain enemies from spawning. Try to make your life a lot more easier, especially with a game that's very complicated like this one. Here I'm trying to use different weapons because I feel like I've been using a lot of the rocket launcher. But it makes sense because, again, the enemies are chunkier in this mode. And I actually usually have a huge desperation to get these things out of the way as soon as possible. Especially because I don't know how many times I've already done this right now. And this recording I think was like maybe the 50th plus time. Or 60, I don't even know, honestly. I did this a lot. That at this point I'm just like, yeah, I'm like going through the motions here basically. I think that's one of the reasons why people say that grinding eventually pays off, because it's gonna come a point where you're just like, yeah, this is this and this is that. And I guess this is what happened with me with Serious Sam, because as you can see I still haven't died yet, which is actually kind of amazing. No one has gotten this far, at least as far as my observations go, in serious mode without dying. That's remarkable, honestly. But yeah, as you can see, as soon as I grab the backpack, I got all my ammo back, sure, but now these kamikazes actually show up. And it is imperative that you grab the backpack because otherwise you can't progress through the level. So you can skip these items, but you'll still be forced to get them anyway. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I even do what I do, by skipping them, clearing the area, and then recovering it once I'm low in ammo. Again, with this mode, I have to be as methodical as possible. It's kind of insane, actually. Probably really insane, actually. Because this game feels... And the music here really just feels like, holy shit, I am so tired. This song actually sounds tiring. Because it's like it feels like the final home stretch before you get into some real, like, serious territory, I guess you can say. Because this is like this is just the final, we're gonna drop these little thingies, but then by the next level, boom, 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 and I'm not kidding when I say that, I'm not even exaggerating. If you saw my playthrough, you already know what it's like to deal with the levels that follow, honestly. It is some of the worst I've ever dealt with, honestly. It's one of those two levels alone make Contra 3 and Kid Icarus feel like the easiest games ever. And Contra 3, I've never even beaten that game on hard mode without continues, so that's kind of saying something. This game is kind of in a league of its own as well. It is difficult. No, and given how long it takes compared to Contra 3 or Kid Icarus, this game actually really is quite lengthy, honestly. It could very well be harder than them, if only because of how long it takes to get to the end. Contra 3, yeah, it's hard, very hard in fact, so hard that I can't beat it myself, but it takes like up to maybe 40 minutes to finish, if you play patiently, that is. It could take up to 40 minutes, maybe 30 minutes if you're fast enough. But Serious Sam Advance, even when you're playing as fast as you can, it takes, for me at least, up to 40 to 50 minutes. But if you're playing on normal mode or hard mode even, it takes almost 2 hours to finish. And imagine that, playing 2 hours of this game without dying. That sounds like crazy shit right there. Like, there's just no way. No way anyone would want to do that. That's probably why we don't see these runs anywhere on YouTube. There's only normal mode runs because even normal mode is kind of still doable. It's serious mode where it just kind of feels like, holy damn, we're gonna have some real issues here. We're in some risky territory now. Especially because of that rocket launcher. Especially in areas where there's just too many enemies, chunky enemies on top of that, where you have to use the rocket launcher, but if you use it in an area where so many enemies are surrounding you, their bullets can clash with the rockets and they can explode right next to you and you die. This is exactly what I mean, where you just kind of, if you take a few hits from the enemies, you could just die at any given moment. There's still a lot of individual kamikaze showing up here, which is pretty annoying, but it is what it is. I think right there the aiming system was giving me problems again because it wasn't hitting the enemies for some reason, and it still isn't. Pretty obnoxious, pretty obnoxious. Right there it finally hits. There's a Gunrilla that I'm fully aware is still there. For some reason, the enemies sometimes derp around and just walk around even if they're in your face for some reason. I don't know why that happens, but it happens, and every time that happens, I definitely take those. Because for me, what I'm trying to do is not get hit, so I don't take too much damage. Because the cannonball hits from the Gunrillas, they hurt. I've said this time and time again, but you guys don't seem to understand how badly it hurts to get hit by these things. If your armor is full, if one of those cannonballs bullseye you, you basically lose. Okay, say it's full, and look at the armor that I have right now. That's where it basically ends up, from full. One cannonball hit, if it bullseyes you. Because if you dodge it a little bit, you could still take residual damage from the explosion, but you wouldn't lose too much damage. But if you get hit directly, boom, the armor goes all the way down there. And that's kind of insane. No, and I think that might be... Oh, no, I don't think I can prove it here, but, you know, take my word for it. I'm already playing through this part of the level already on serious mode. That's got to give me some kind of credibility. I think so anyways, but if you think otherwise, then feel free to say so, honestly. It is what it is. People can disagree a lot of the time. But yeah, okay, so here, Yeah, there were some reptiloids that I had to deal with because, you know, it is what it is. Here's another thing that I actually try to implement, and this is one that I can definitely see nobody doing, actually, and it's skipping the backpack here, which is hard to actually do, actually. You have to be very, very, like, tight to be able to avoid it altogether. And it doesn't always work. So, yeah. But the reason why I'm skipping the backpack is because right now I want to use up all the ammo that I have right now on whatever's here. Because here, even if you skip the backpack, all the enemies that are in this final room will spawn regardless. I just have to take this first wave of enemies, and then the next wave will spawn without collecting the backpack. So, yeah. I just want to see how much ammo I have left, and if I'm low, to the point where I need more, then I'll just collect the backpack and keep on going. But if I don't need to, then I can just simply leave the backpack there for the end, and be fully loaded for the next level. Because, yeah, the next level is it's like the worst thing ever, honestly. If you see my playthrough, you've already know that it's one of the worst things ever, honestly. Although in normal mode, obviously it doesn't look too bad, honestly, but it really is, especially in hard mode. And this is why I'm actually showcasing this, because I want to showcase the serious mode version of the following two levels, that being the Praetorian Fort and Caesar's Palace. Because those two levels are, they feel easy in retrospect nowadays when you play them on the tourist mode or the bring it on mode. But in serious mode, holy damn, it feels like a whole different game altogether. It's just like, holy damn. No, and with how long it takes to get there, especially without losing lives, it's kind of like insane, honestly. Because you have to go through all of this. And look how much time it's taking me to finish every level, like over 8 minutes, 7 minutes. It takes a long time, especially because you're trying to play carefully, because if you get hit, you take a lot of damage, and you don't want that, so yeah. Here I'm trying to lure this arachnoid over here so that I can dodge what's about to spawn in right now in a bit. Yeah, I'm trying to be right here, because this is like my safe zone. However, if I drift away too much, these things start to derp around for some reason and not go after me, even though they clearly saw me go over here. That's another difference from GoldenEye and this game, is that they sometimes, once you drift away enough far away from them, instead of following you all the way to wherever you go, they just derp around and walk around like as if they don't know what they're doing or something. It's kind of weird, but honestly I'll take it because I think that's what makes my life easier here. Here's another Gunrilla that I'm like, you know what, I haven't used enough of this minigun that I'll actually be able to probably put in some work here. Here, the Gunrilla took like maybe 70 or 80 shots, I think. They take a lot of shots to take out, even with the minigun. And the minigun is supposed to be somewhat the more powerful weapon here. Although it's possible that the Tommy gun and the minigun are probably the same in power, because I actually heard from some reviewers of this game that that the Tommy gun and the minigun, they actually share the ammo in the other games, that being the first encounter and the second encounter. They actually share the same ammo, so if that's the case, they must have the same base power, no? Which, if so, then there's still an advantage that I can point out that the minigun has, and that's that it shoots more faster than the Tommy gun. I think it's also more accurate than the Tommy gun, so it's still the more useful weapon compared to the Tommy gun. I think the Tommy gun has less range and it makes aiming a lot more difficult. But it is still reliable because it is a machine gun, and machine guns are always going to be they're going to be very, very useful. And of course, there's some elotera right now. Specifically now on Christmas Day? Give me a break. Okay, but it is what it is. Either way, we're going to have to put up with it. Because right now, I've come this far, and I don't want to let this freaking elotera be wasting my time now with something else. So yeah. Anyways, this is a Gunrilla. A bunch of them spawn after taking out the arachnoids earlier. And, oh yeah, something worth noting about the Gunrillas is that they take 6 shotgun hits to take out, which is, goes to show you how chunky they are. In normal mode, they take 4 shotgun hits. In easy mode, it takes 3. These reptiloids with the cannon, it takes 1 to kill them, but there's times where it takes 2, so it's like, yeah, it's kind of, again, inconsistencies. The Gunrillas also take 2 cannon hits to take out. In the previous 2 modes, it takes only 1, but in serious mode, it takes 2. And this is definitely a big deal, actually, because this is exactly, I can't talk. This is exactly what makes the next level all the more insane. But yeah, here we're gonna get into that point right now. I'm just collecting this final backpack. I was trying to see if I can open this door again, maybe unlock a secret weapon maybe, but nah, none of that. Also, another reason why I even preserved this backpack for the first time ever, this is not the first time ever by the way, but like when I did this for the first time, I was hoping that by preserving the backpack until the very end, that I could unlock the unidirectional microwave transmitter that way. But even that wasn't true. So it's like, I'm like here trying to dig out the possibilities of unlocking that weapon before I get to the freaking Praetorian Fort. But there just isn't a way, it seems. And speaking of Praetorian Fort, here we are. This is going to be the most chaotic level ever. And I've already said in my playthrough that it's the hardest level in the game, without question. But the music in this level is sick, actually. I love listening to it, actually, because this is actually the music that actually kept me going with when it came to traversing this difficult ass level. Because it's just so good. It really sounds like I'm building up to a climax here, and it actually delivers. That's the crazy part. Okay, so yeah, obviously this level, to make things very savage, it starts out with a group of bladder beasts. And as soon as the door opens, obviously they shoot at you, so you have to take damage before you even get to progress, which is kind of crazy. I guess that's why there's a 50 armor right there on your left. Okay, now here is a funny little bit of the level right now. Okay, so I tried dodging this cannon, but look at what I do, man. And this is what happens when I'm a little too obsessed with the whole wanting to pick up everything on the ground. This little quirk of mine's is actually gonna cost me in a bit right here. You're gonna see right now. I'm gonna collect this 50 armor, but it's because here I am. Look, I'm using up all the ammo because again, these weapons are fully loaded, and there's some stuff here on the ground that looks like a museum for some reason. I like how the ammo here is all placed like as if it was in a museum or some shit. But yeah, no. Regardless, this museum-like display that I see of these weapons is exactly what's enticing me to do this right now. But here's where I fuck up completely. Look at what I do here. Boom! And then, yeah, obviously, yeah, I blew myself up right here because I wanted to actually be able to collect the cannonballs. But yeah, as soon as... Here I usually collect the weapons slowly so I can see the names for each of the stuff that I collect. But yeah, I'm gonna realize that right here I just rushed through it all because right here I'll admit that I kind of got tilted and just lost faith that I could actually beat this now because yeah, that could have been it right there. Like this could have been the run right here, but unfortunately I think here I might actually... Yeah, because look, here the reason I don't have faith in being able to surpass this is because look what follows up here. We have to deal with these guys. And you have to be careful. You have to dodge them. Shoot them right here carefully. With the rockets. I took a hit, but no big deal. Okay, but now I have to deal with this wave of gorillas. Dodge their cannonballs. I have to shoot them with the rockets so that they all take damage, as many as possible. Watch out with the cannons. Unfortunately, I took a cannonball hit. One of the rockets clashed with the cannon nearby, and therefore I lost a lot more HP now. And right here, I am going to be able to beat this wave of enemies, but now there's more arachnoids. And unfortunately, I ran out of rockets, and I got hit by one of those things, and I died. Yeah. All because I wanted to freaking pick up all the museum weapons that you see here, or the museum ammo that you see here. Yeah, and I'm still sticking to that, it seems, because yeah, I'm still going for it right here. It's either that or I actually don't bother with that. Actually, I think I don't bother with that, or I might. I don't know. Yeah, probably not, because I feel like, damn, this could have been the run, because I wanted to see if I could maybe like do this without like losing a single life, which would have been legendary, I feel, if I actually got that, but you know, I wasn't able to. But right now what I want to see is if I can actually, you know, make it past this level without game overing, because yeah, that means I won't have to enter with the password system. Yeah, no, I just use up the minigun ammo and then just collect that. So yeah, no, here I don't even bother with the museum anymore. I was just like, you guys are the reason why I even messed this up. It is my own fault though, like definitely my own fault. for having that quirk of needing to pick up everything, I basically blew it right here. But anyways, here we are again, trying to destroy these things. You have to dodge those bullets. You have to make sure the rocket doesn't clash with their shots. Otherwise, what happened in the last run right here basically happened. And look what happened to my armor. Just for clashing, almost. It didn't clash very closely, but it still clashed. And look, I took a cannonball hit. I think that one was a bullseye, I think. Which is why I lost the armor and almost half of my HP. And nonetheless, I still have this whole wave of enemies to still deal with. Here I'm going to try to use the Tommy gun. I think here what I could have used was maybe the minigun. I don't know. But maybe I wanted to preserve the minigun in case something happened. Here I'm going to just shoot and hope I can like survive whatever these... Because if these cannons, if they hit me directly, I can lose right away. I think it's going to take 2 cannons to actually kill me right here, actually. So I'm just trying to like carefully dodge. It's hard to see when the cannons shoot, especially because you don't get to... Sometimes you don't get to hear the sound effects of when they shoot the cannons. You don't get to hear the... You know, that sound when they shoot out the cannons. Sometimes you don't hear it because of the Tommy gun making a lot of noise, you know. Kind of isolating their sounds, which makes it very, very difficult for me to even, you know what I'm doing half the time. Now here, yeah, we're gonna actually, take out... We actually survived the wave of freaking Gunrillas. Because for me, the Gunrillas are the more obnoxious ones to deal with. But then again, the Arachnoids are as well. Here I collect the backpack so that I can actually go to this corner right away. And let it be known that this is the only backpack that you have in this level. And with all those waves of Gunrillas and Arachnoids, do you really think that one backpack is going to be enough to handle what's up ahead? After getting this backpack, you already saw it. A huge wave of more Gunrillas appeared in this. And this is hard mode, by the way. I need to remind you that this is hard mode we're dealing with here. If this is tourist mode or bring it on mode, yeah, sure, you can deal with it with the rocket launcher. But remember that in the hard mode, the rocket launcher is risky business. So if you're going to use the rocket launcher, you better pray for goodness sakes that you don't clash with any of the Gunrilla's cannons. Otherwise, you're donezo. Here, I personally am taking it way too slowly and trying to use up as much of the Tommy gun, because the Tommy gun for me is kind of the disposable weapon here. Like, it is a good machine gun, especially for the kamikazes, but again, I don't want to use up the rockets here. At least for this first half. The other half I can definitely use, as dodging the rockets now, or the cannonballs from these guys is much easier since I took care of half with the Tommy gun. Basically what this level is wanting you to do is actually use your weapons wisely so that you don't use up all your weapons, and the ones you feel are going to be useful for certain parts of the level is going to basically be what you use. Here I used the rocket launcher, but I think the more I do this part of the level, the more I'm starting to think maybe I should just stick with the Tommy gun and maybe save the rockets for something else later. Because yeah, it's kind of risky for me to use the rocket launcher, because if I miss that, or if the kamikaze dodges it somehow, you're going to take an explosion either way, and you're going to take unnecessary damage. And here, like I said in my playthrough, you're not in condition to take so much damage here, because there's very limited armor, very limited health, and very limited ammo. So it's like, everything in this level is limited. You only have so much of everything. In fact, I can already tell you right now that this level only has 150 armor, 3 25 armors. 3 25 armors, 100 armor, 1 antidote, 2 medical kits, and 1 heart. That's all you get. And 1 backpack. And 1 of everything over there in the museum that you saw earlier, that I freaking messed up for, honestly. For that stupid museum, I actually blew the run here, actually, which is crazy. But yeah, 1 of everything. This level basically has everything, but mostly 1 of everything, with the exception of the medical kit and the 25 armor. Those have at least more than 1. But yeah. Okay, so here, I think you've seen this in my playthrough already, where I kind of just sneak up on some of these enemies to play as tactfully as possible, because the point here is that I don't take any damage. I am playing a little bit more comfortably now, but it still requires me to be patient because, again, with the Gunrillas being as chunky as they are, you don't want to mess around with these things. Here, you're about to see how many shotgun hits it takes to take out the Gunrilla. I know I already said earlier that it takes up to 6, but you're going to see right here how many. 3, 4, 5, 6. Right there. 6 shotgun hits. And here we go again. This one for some reason is hard to aim, even though it's directly right there. Probably wants me to move it away, but right there. Go closer. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because of the chunky nature of these Gunrillas, is where I realized that, you know what, I should probably just use the prying gun and have these guys shoot themselves instead of me having to deal with them. So that's exactly what I do right here. I just give them the question mark. I'm gonna just sit here and wait for a while. Just listen to them shooting each other. Once the shots, damn it, end, then you can go back in, basically. So basically, we're just gonna wait here to see, you know, what goes down and all that good stuff. From the looks of it, no more Gunrillas. Okay, so that's a good sign. Yeah, and as you can see, but right here, now here's something that I also see not a whole lot of people implement. If they have the rocket launcher, they don't just stay here and just shoot them here. They actually go all the way up close to the Gunrillas to actually try to shoot them. But they can literally just shoot them with the rocket launcher. Or the minigun. Any weapon with range can actually shoot from all the way over there. But they don't do that. I don't know why. But it is what it is. Everyone has their ways of playing. That is true. But damn, pet peeves, man, pet peeves. Okay, here, again, I guess I don't show, or maybe I will show it. Let me see if I do show it. Okay, yeah, I do show it. There's Cyclops here for the first time ever in the setting of Rome, which is kind of interesting, actually. I guess this is trying to, like, remind you that these guys existed because they did not appear ever in this setting of Rome. They were effectively replaced by the Gunrillas, but they wanted to give you one last reference here about these guys. It's because this level is trying to give you all the enemies, all of them. The only ones that are not here is the Syrian Werebulls and the Hermit Crabuloids, the Mythic Soldiers, and the Mythic Commanders. Those 4 enemies are the only ones that are not here, but everything else is pretty much here. All the powerful enemies are basically here. Okay, so here, yeah, I'm basically doing what I did in my playthrough, where I clear the area, collect the medical kit if I lost any HP, and then from there collect the heart, because this heart is very important, especially for this mode, for the serious mode, because you need to be beyond full HP to be able to deal with what's up ahead. And if you watch my playthrough, you should already know what's up ahead. There is something that I actually did not get to show in my playthrough though, and you're gonna see it right here actually. It comes right here after taking care of these arachnoids. I'm going to take care of them right here. 4 shotgun hits each one. Now, after taking care of this, usually I go here in the left side to, you know, take care of the enemies, but however, I realized that it's actually more convenient to take care of the enemies here. In other words, the Gunrillas, ironically enough, surprisingly enough. Because for me, the Gunrillas have always been the worst things to deal with in the Rome setting. But here, I actually realized that, crazily enough, in a insane twist, that they're much easier to deal with here than the bladder beasts that show up. And not to mention, there's actually less Gunrillas than there are bladder beasts, because bladder beasts appear both here where I'm standing right now and on the other side. But the Gunrillas only appear right over there, in that one side over there. That's it. They don't appear here where I'm at. So that's actually a saving grace of this level. But it is still dangerous nonetheless, because as soon as those cannons hit you, you will lose a lot of armor and possibly HP from the 200 health that you just collected. So it's still risky business. What happens with the bladder beasts is that they shoot you too much with their saliva and you lose a lot of your armor for no reason. So yeah, it's kind of the same thing. But here, yeah, I'm trying to be careful because again, I'm not finished with all the... Yeah, here's where I have to do that risky like crossing right here, so that I can actually quickly shoot the Gunrillas right here and try to dodge their cannon, but I also have to be super careful with not falling into the lava pits, because if I do, then that's the whole game, and all the progress that I've made so far is basically for naught. And now here, okay, so here, this is an interesting part here. I didn't shoot this Gunrilla whatsoever. You could, if you can aim the rocket launcher from all the way back there where I was standing earlier, but if not, you can actually aim the Gunrilla like this, and you can take care of them that way. What I'm gonna do right now is go back to see if I need any 25 armors. From looks of it, I do not. That's just a double check. I don't think I even took any damage, but you know, this is just in case, obviously. Here, there's gonna be one last kamikaze right here, at least in this hallway. There was a medical kit there, but that's pointless because it's the 200 health you need here, or else you will never beat this mode in hard mode, serious mode. But yeah, right here I'm just bracing myself because, yeah, I'm like, I know that this is the moment of truth, basically. This is basically the most explosive moment in the whole game, actually. You collect that tiny minigun ammo, and then from there you have to take out these 2 kamikazes, who you have to hope for goodness sakes don't fall into the pits, because what happens is that they actually end up, you know, getting stuck and you have to explode yourself with them in order to get rid of them. Okay, but here, yeah, look. Here I have to basically shoot these cannonballs, and I have to hope that it takes them out. The Gunrillas take 2 cannonball hits to take them out. However, the point is not to take them out completely with the cannon here. What you have to do is shoot the cannonballs in ways that it can shoot diagonally across the room, because remember that these cannonballs actually bounce off the walls for some reason. And with that, you can cut in half some of the Gunrilla's HP so that you can take them out very easily with the minigun. Can you believe that? That it actually comes down to Serious Sam's 2 signature weapons to take care of this one part of the level here. The forbidden zone is how I like to call it, because it's, or the ultimate death zone is what I like to call it, because it's usually right here where my run ends if I've come this far. And I said in my playthrough that I've made it this far before. It's just that I never get past this part because it was always very impossible to beat, and you can see why now. It's just because there was so much of that, all of those cannons coming from every angle. But if you use your own cannons and then finish them off with the minigun, that's how you do it. That's how you actually finish off these enemies. It is still hard though. Like, it still requires strategic maneuvering around them. You have to kind of like run around them. I don't think I did it too well here, but I was just kind of lucky. That is kind of one of the things that is required to get that part done. You kind of have to hope that the Gunrillas miss your like they miss you when they shoot their cannonballs at you, because otherwise you're gonna take a hefty amount of damage. Either way, thankfully we got through that part. So now we're here in the final level, that is Caesar's Palace. And while this level is not as savage as the last one, it is still pretty hard nonetheless. Especially because in this level, while everything looks pretty straightforward, the armor and medical kits here are very limited as well. In fact, there are no antidotes here, no hearts, just medical kits. And if you want my estimation, I believe there are only 2 medical kits in this level. Only 2. And only 2 25 armors. No 50 armors. And there's only 1 100 armor. What there is plenty of in this level, though, is backpacks, though. There was a backpack right there, as you saw. Thankfully, because, dude, that last level, there was only 1 backpack. Which means that, yeah, I was basically in a tight situation if there was no backpacks in the later level. And it kind of seemed that way when I started this level. But, you know, obviously, there was one over there. But, yeah, here, I have to use up all my ammo again because Gunrillas are back. There are some bladder beasts up in the back, but they're not that big of a deal. You just gotta make sure you don't get hit by their saliva, because their saliva kind of does a lot of damage now in this mode. As you saw right there, I lost all my armor now. Their potential is fulfilled here in the hard mode. Like, this is the kind of damage I expected them to do even as far back as the normal mode. Here, there's an arachnoid that I take out with rockets. And I believe here, I'm gonna try to... Yeah, there's the other 25 armor, and that's the last one, I believe, that you'll ever see in this game. Here I'm going to try to finish off these arachnoids with the rockets, and then try to finish off what's left with the minigun. I think I was trying to go with a Tommy gun, but you know, the freaking reverse weaponing is very difficult, so I had to use the minigun. Here I'm going to try to use the Tommy gun though, even though it has less accuracy than the minigun. I just want to actually like use up all the ammo for this before getting into the other gun, that is the minigun. And as you can see right here, in easy mode, usually it takes just shooting one of these kamikazes for both of them to go down. But in normal mode and in hard mode, that doesn't work that way. You actually have to shoot each one individually, which is kind of tedious actually. The best way you can actually handle this is actually use the rocket launcher. But you gotta hope it hits one of them at least, because if it misses, then you'll have to strafe around them. And you know how, if you know how the rocket launcher works in this game, by the fact that it doesn't leave the rotator for a good while, you know very well that it will be difficult to land the rockets while you're strafing around these things. Right there, what happens was that once again the aim system decided to be janky and just freaking missed my shot, even though the crosshair was clearly there. But you know, it is what it is. That's kind of what comes with the hard mode. Like I even said in the playthrough that this kind of stuff actually hurts you in the hard mode, and this is exactly what I mean. Thankfully, I was able to survive enough to get a medical kit. But as far as armor is concerned, I'm not gonna get any for a while now. And right here, this is not a lava pit like in freaking Praetorian Fort, but here's the ultimate weapon that I needed in Praetorian Fort that never existed for some freaking reason. And there is thankfully a safe zone here. But this arena will be filled with enemies nonetheless. But thankfully this safe zone is here. That's something I didn't have the luxury to have in the Praetorian Fort for that final room. You saw that I was fully exposed there. And with lava pits to dodge, thankfully this is exactly what makes this this level not feel too bad actually. Here there's no lava pits for me to have to dodge. On the contrary, there's actually a safe zone for me to actually, you know, be able to shoot enemies from over here. Here I'm going to try to shift to my rocket launcher. Hope for goodness sakes this doesn't actually get me killed. I do immediately go over here to avoid any possible cannons coming. It seems like I didn't get anybody, so I'm just going to, you know, stay here. I wanted to use the cannon here. I don't know if I use it. I don't remember if I used it here actually, but I do believe that I actually tried to use it at some point here. Yeah, okay, I think, yeah, I try to use the cannon, but I do have to use it carefully, because if you saw what happened in the Praetorian Fort, where I freaking shot it at the stairs and it somehow blew up on me, I thought it was going to go upwards, but it freaking just, or even bounced, but it just exploded, and I was just like, yeah, like that. It ricocheted because I shot it right there in that corner, instead of right here. See, these things scare me a lot in the hard mode, because any of these screw-ups can really, like, mess me up, and it can pretty much end the whole run. It's insane how like it all just works out like that. Okay, now here's another thing that I don't know if anyone has even implemented as a strategy here. I think a lot of people like to go balls to the wall and just use the ultimate weapon right here, but I don't roll that way. What I do here is actually try to use the prying gun actually. Try to see if these guys can just shoot each other, because what happens is that if I get too close here, they're gonna shoot me with their cannons, and even though I'm up here, the explosion will reach me and it will still do a lot of damage. So I have to make sure that this shot hits them and make sure that the question mark is on their head. And then bingo. And then what happens is that one of these gunrillas will actually go after each other, or after the other one, because the other one for some reason can't even move from where it's at, even though there's a lot of space here. There is one enemy like over down there, but I need to actually be like sure that I'm in like in a safe position. But because the gunrilla was alive there earlier and still in that same position where it was shooting cannons, I didn't want to get too close there. What I do now is that I actually get over here so I can see what they're doing right now. The gunrilla is still shooting at these guys, which is kind of crazy. I almost got hit by that cannon. Okay, but here I do get scared of this guy's cannon, so I think I just try to finish this thing off with a time strike. I try to save the time strike for the enemies that follow after these gunrillas. What I wanted to use was the cannon or the Tommy gun here, but I was just in a panic mode here. Here I'm going to use what's left of the cannons to destroy whatever enemies are here. Thankfully, all these enemies take only one cannon to take out completely, unlike the gunrillas, which take two, which is annoying, because that actually makes me waste all of my cannonballs. And since the maximum capacity here is 10, unlike 30, like in Serious Sam, the first encounter, and so on and so forth, you know, it is kind of annoying, because then I don't have enough power in this level. The minigun is still good. It's just that with all these enemies that spawn, it's just it runs out pretty quickly. So yeah. Either way, all the enemies have been taken care of now. Thanks to the safe zone, I didn't have to take too much damage, which is really, really good. I guess it makes sense that it's not as hard as Praetorian Fort, because this is supposedly Caesar's palace. Imagine if Caesar had, like, his palace was just filled with lava pits, and in order to get to him, you have to traverse all those lava pits. Don't even get me started as to how he himself will actually get to his throne, honestly. Does Caesar himself have to traverse his own lava pits to actually get to his throne? That's just silly. Yeah, no. But yeah, it's still pretty hard though. Don't get it twisted though. This level's still pretty hard. The enemies appear in very awkward areas and with very limited armor and health. That, yeah, it's still kind of risky business nonetheless. There's that 100 armor, the only one in this level. And that's the crazy part. You get it here because this is the penultimate room right here before you get to the final boss of this game. Here, these arachnoids show up. The only thing I do with these guys is just prying gun them so that they stop shooting me all aggressively, and then I can just finish them off with the rocket launcher. Right here, I go back to the minigun because after this, I'm gonna get a group of kamikazes coming here again from an awkward angle to the point where I have to kind of strafe a little bit to kind of hit them properly and not miss a single one. There's another one right here that I didn't see for some reason. Again, this is kind of what makes facing them right here very janky. Now right here is where I actually want to use the microwave transmitter because yeah, it takes care of all these gunrillas. And in the hard mode, it's very difficult to dodge them here. People like to use the microwave transmitter over there where the arena was, but right there's a safe zone, so there's no need. Right here, there's no safe zones though, so here it was the perfect place for me to use it. Here, I was so angry about the fact that I lost right there, because I felt like if I actually made it as far as I did here, I could have actually made the no death run here, but alas. But nonetheless, I just went in like on this this boss, the Wolf Eater, like nothing. Here, I kind of just simply wait for the cannon shots to blow, and then I use the microwave transmitter. Then I have to shift my weapons. I actually use the rocket launcher here, but I don't recommend using the rocket launcher. It does protect you from those projectiles that he throws sometimes, but if it doesn't, the chances are that it clashes again, and then you just die instantaneously, and that's kind of what you don't want. That's why I have to make sure I have the minigun when I'm firing at this guy. He's gonna, yeah, right there, he was about to spawn the gunrillas again. I'm actually glad right there I actually took them out before he actually got crazy with me. Because, yeah, gunrillas, I did have one more shot in the microwave transmitter, so I could have just gotten rid of them, but, you know. As you saw, it took out a lot of my armor, it took out a lot of my health very, very exponentially. It goes to show you that the boss reached its full potential in the hard mode, which is kind of insane. But yeah, there you have it. That's the hard mode for Serious Sam Advanced. I did have to use one continue because I freaking decided to be dumb at the very last moment. But you know, I still beat the level without game overing completely, without having to re-enter the level with the password system. In other words, I actually beat the Praetorian Fort without the unidirectional microwave transmitter, which is insane because it appears that no one in the world has done that yet. So I'm effectively the first person to do so, and if not the first person to do it, definitely the first one to document such events happening here, which is amazing. So yeah. No, and this ending with this music, it only makes beating the hard mode feed all the more satisfying. Feel, I meant to say, not feed. Feel all the more satisfying. Because, yeah, possibly, with that being done, I pretty much don't have much to do with this game now. I pretty much finished what I wanted to do with this game. Because even back, as far back as a decade ago, I've been wanting to actually beat the hard mode, but I just didn't find it possible. I actually find it amazing that just on the 20th anniversary of Serious Sam, or, you know, after 20 years of the game being out, somebody finally beats the hard mode, which is kind of cool. But yeah. So yeah, that's going to be the whole game with Serious Sam. I just wanted to showcase my run because, yeah, obviously it was a hard mode run. It's not a normal mode run. It's not a easy mode run. It's actually the hard mode run. And this is actually the one where I'm actually going to provide my commentary. However, I am going to upload one more time 3 more runs for Serious Sam Advance. They will all not have commentary, and they will all actually, you know, be with the in-game audio and all that stuff. It's gonna be one for easy mode, one for normal mode, and one for hard mode, without continues for all of them, because, you know, the ones that I've showcased so far shows me actually having died. So now I actually want to showcase one where I haven't died, because other people on YouTube have done that as well, and I just want to show them that I too can do that and beyond. So yeah, I was a little hesitant to do it at first because unfortunately there is a Bulgarian guy that freaking is claiming the music in this game for some reason. I don't want to say his name because I don't know how dangerous that it could be, honestly, but you'll see his name in my description if worse comes to worse. But yeah, just know that this music is definitely Matt Simmons' music and not his, honestly. I don't know what rights does he think he has to claim the music that's in this game when it's not even his. I don't know. This guy seems like a real hack, honestly, but, you know, I'm not gonna waste my time with him. But yeah, just know that he was kind of the reason why I didn't want to showcase this earlier. I decided to opt for this first, and then kind of determine it by the end of it if I wanted to do it or not, like showcase it or not. But I'm going to, because this is something that I don't think anyone has ever done, and I kind of want to do it before the year ends, just to kind of mark that it was in this year that I did it, and not like the year next year or something. Or I don't want people to think that it was next year. I would have still put the record date in the description anyways. I usually do for runs like these anyway, so. But yeah, that's going to be the whole run. If you watched my whole run for Serious Sam Advance, thank you for watching. I'll catch you whenever I showcase something else. But for now, just take it easy and have yourselves a good one.